I jolt awake, cryo-sleep fluid draining from my lungs in hacking coughs. The pod's lid retracts, revealing the white of the ship's hibernation bay. My mind struggles to shake off the fog of suspended animation. Dr. Keller, vital signs stabilizing. Please remain still while nanites complete cellular repair. The ship's AI drones in my ear as feeling returns to my limbs. I flex my fingers, fighting the urge to tear out the myriad tubes and sensors attached to my body. Patience was never my strong suit, even before a decade of dreamless sleep. Status report, I rasp, throat raw. Mission parameters achieved, Doctor. Anomaly detected at target coordinates. My heart rate spikes. After years of searching, could we have finally found it? I sit up, ignoring the AI's protests. The rest of the team is already stirring in their pods. Captain Lin, her short black hair plastered to her forehead, locks eyes with me. No words are needed. We both know what this means. Security Chief Olsen is next, his burly frame barely fitting in the cryopod. He immediately starts checking weapon systems. Dr. Green takes longest to wake, her cybernetic implants requiring additional calibration. Conference room, 10 minutes. Lin commands, all business. I dress quickly, synapses firing as I review our mission. A planet hidden by technology, rumors of a long-dead civilization with power to reshape reality itself. The kind of discovery that makes or breaks careers, or gets everyone killed. The conference room viewport shows a sea of stars, same as always. Lin brings up the holomap, pointing to a conspicuous void. There's our needle in the haystack, she says. Gravity readings indicate a planetary body, but visuals show nothing. Cloaking tech, Olsen asks, frowning. That's well beyond anything in known space. Hence our presence, I interject. If the legends are true, this civilization was capable of feats we'd consider godlike. Green speaks up, her voice infused with the faint metallic resonance of her vocal implants. I've analyzed the sensor data. There are inconsistencies, quantum fluctuations that shouldn't be possible. Whatever's hiding this planet, it's not just advanced tech. It's rewriting the laws of physics. A chill runs down my spine, part excitement, part terror. Lin nods. We knew the risks when we signed up. Ethan, your call. Do we proceed? All eyes turn to me. I'm the project lead, the one who staked his reputation on this wild theory. I'm having doubts, but I'm trying to ignore them. We've come too far to turn back now. Take us in, I say, slow and steady. The ship edges forward, instruments straining to make sense of the readings. For a moment, nothing changes. Then reality shifts. It's subtle at first, a shimmer in the void. The stars seem to bend, light twisting in ways that make my eyes water. Olsen curses, Green gasps. I lean forward, heart pounding. The void parts like a curtain, revealing a planet where moments ago there was nothing. Blue-green landmasses peek through swirling white clouds. It's beautiful, hauntingly so. Life signs, I ask, barely breathing. Green shakes her head. Nothing complex. Readings suggest plant-like organisms, but no animals, no movement at all. That's impossible, Olsen mutters. A thriving ecosystem needs... We left impossible behind when we flew through a hole in space. Lin cuts him off. Ethan, thoughts? I stare at the planet. We need to get down there. Whatever's happened, the answers are on the surface. Lin nods. Prep the lander. We go in hot, ready for anything. The descent is tense. Our craft buffets against an atmosphere that, by all rights, shouldn't exist. Olsen runs us through safety protocols for the dozenth time. Green triple-checks her equipment. I try not to vomit as the reality of what we're doing hits me. We touch down in a clearing surrounded by towering structures that could almost pass for trees. The air reads as breathable, but we keep our helmets sealed. Trust nothing. Verify everything. The lander's hatch opens. I step out first, boots sinking slightly into spongy purple ground cover. The structures loom overhead, gently swaying despite the lack of wind. But it's the silence that hits hardest. No birds, no insects, not even the rustle of leaves. Just a deathly, unnatural quiet. Spread out, stay in visual range, Lynn orders. Ethan, what are we looking for? I activate my scanner, sweeping the alien landscape. Anything artificial, ruins, tech, signs of intelligent... The words die in my throat as my scanner pings. There, half hidden by the not-quite vegetation, a spire of metal, its design achingly familiar. Captain, I call out, voice shaking. I think we just found what we're looking for. In the distance, partially obscured by the alien vegetation, stands a structure that's unmistakably artificial. Its design is both familiar and alien, geometric shapes and smooth surfaces that suggest an advanced civilization, but with proportions and angles that feel subtly wrong to human eyes. The structure ahead of us looks like a distorted copy of human architecture. It's so bright and shimmery it hurts to look directly at it. Buildings of unusual shapes interlock, creating a cityscape that seems like it shouldn't be able to stand. Fan out, Lynn orders. Standard recon formation. Olsen, take point. Olsen moves forward, rifle at the ready. His eyes dart from shadow to shadow, searching for threats that refuse to materialize. Everything was quiet except for the sound of us breathing and the muffled crunching of unfamiliar plants as we walked. I follow closely behind, scanner whirring as it struggles to make sense of our surroundings. The readings are inconsistent. One moment, it detects complex alloys and energy signatures. The next, nothing but inert stone. Dr. Keller, Green calls out, her cybernetic eyes glowing faintly as she interfaces with her equipment. Are you seeing this? I move to her side, frowning at the holographic display floating above her wrist. That can't be right. These energy patterns. They're similar to neural networks, she finishes, but on a massive scale. It's as if the entire city is thinking. A chill runs down my spine. Let's not jump to conclusions. We need more data. We press deeper into the alien metropolis. The buildings grow denser, crowding in until they blot out the sky. It feels like we're being studied, but every sweep reveals nothing but empty streets and eerily silent structures. Hold up! Olsen calls out, raising a fist. He's stopped at an intersection. Streets branch off at various angles, some seeming to loop back on themselves. What is it? Lynn asks, moving up beside him. Olsen points. Look there. On the wall. I follow his line of sight, squinting in the dim light. At first, I see nothing but smooth metallic surface. Then it shifts. A ripple passes through the wall, and suddenly I'm staring at a scene of bustling alien life. Creatures move through the holographic display, their forms bizarre yet somehow familiar. Multiple limbs, bodies that seem to phase in and out of solidity, eyes that see beyond the visible spectrum. They go about tasks I can't begin to understand, using tools that hurt to look at directly. It's a recording. Green breathes, her implants whirring as she attempts to interface. Or a simulation. I can't tell. I step closer, fascinated. This must be what the original inhabitants looked like, but where did they go? Why leave this running? As if in answer, the scene changes. The aliens freeze, their many eyes turning to look directly at us. No, not at us, through us. Their forms waver, becoming more translucent. Fear contorts their alien features as they begin to unravel. In moments, the bustling scene is replaced by empty streets. Silence falls once more. Screw this, Olsen mutters, backing away. Captain, I don't like this one bit. Lynn's face is grim behind her faceplate. Agreed, but we have a job to do. Green, any luck accessing their systems? Green shakes her head. It's like trying to interface with smoke. I'm picking up data, but it keeps slipping away. We need to find a central hub, something I can jack into directly. I nod. The architecture seems to be growing more complex as we move inward. Logic dictates a central point of control. Then that's where we're headed, Lynn decides. Stay alert. This place is playing tricks on us, and I don't want any nasty surprises. We move deeper into the heart of the alien city. The buildings twist and merge, forming canyon-like streets that seem to thrive with hidden life. More holograms come to life as we pass, showing snippets of a civilization so advanced it borders on magic. Then, without warning, our comms die. "Captain!" Olsen shouts. "I've lost contact with the ship." Lynn curses, tapping furiously at her wrist console. "Same here, Green, what's going on?" But Green doesn't answer. She's frozen in place. A thin trickle of blood runs from her nose. "Natalie!" I move to her side, medical training kicking in. "Can you hear me?" She blinks rapidly, coming back to herself with a gasp. I saw... Oh God, Ethan, this place! It's not just a city, it's alive!" Before I can respond, the ground is trembling. The walls around us shift, rearranging themselves like pieces of a colossal puzzle. When the movement stops, we find ourselves in a vast hall, surrounded by organic-looking technology. And in the center, a pillar of light stretches from floor to ceiling, filled with swirling data and half-formed images. I think we just found the central hub. As we stare in awe, I am overwhelmed by the suspicion that we haven't discovered this place. It has discovered us. The central hub is intense, emitting a strange energy that washes over us with shifting colors, causing my eyes to sting. Holographic displays comes to life around us, filling the air with data streams and alien glyphs. "Green," Lynn calls. "What are we looking at?" Natalie approaches the pillar of light. The data density is staggering. It's like trying to download an ocean through a pinhole. I circle the chamber, scanner in hand. The walls react, micro-adjustments rippling across their surface in response to our movements. The entire structure appears to be one massive supercomputer. But the technology, it's not just advanced, it's evolved. Olsen keeps his weapon trained on the entrance we came through, or where it used to be. The room has sealed itself, becoming a seamless sphere. "I don't like this, Captain. We're trapped. Stay calm," Lynn orders, though I catch the edge in her voice. "Green, can you access any of this? We need answers." Natalie nods, tapping her wrist console. Thin cables snake out from her cybernetic ports, seeking connection with the alien tech. "I'm attempting a direct neural link. It's risky, but..." Her words cut off in a strangled gasp. Natalie's body goes rigid, eyes rolling back as data floods her system. Holographic tendrils erupt from the central pillar, enveloping each of us in a cocoon of light. My vision becomes hazy and objects morph into unrecognizable forms. I'm falling, drowning in an ocean of information too vast for a human to absorb. Fragments of alien memories assault me. A civilization spanning galaxies, reshaping worlds on a whim. The discovery of other sentient species, so primitive in comparison. Curiosity turning to obsession, the drive to understand, to catalogue, to perfect. This world, crafted as the ultimate laboratory, a testing ground for countless species. Hubris. A fatal miscalculation. Their creations turning against them. A desperate plan, seeding the galaxies with their essence, waiting for worthy inheritors. I come back to myself with a violent shake, collapsing to my knees. Around me, the others are in similar states of disorientation. Natalie lies unconscious, blood trickling from her nose and ears. "What the hell just happened?" Lynn croaks, struggling to her feet. Olsen shakes his head, clearly rattled. "I saw... things. Other worlds, experiments. Captain, I think we're in deep shit here." I move to check on Natalie. It was a data dump. The system couldn't communicate with us directly, so it force-fed us information. What kind of information? Lynn asks. History, I mutter, trying to process the flood of alien memories. This planet, this entire facility, it's a testing ground, created by a species so advanced they were practically gods. Natalie stirs, her cybernetic eyes dimming as they reboot. Not just a testing ground, she says. A crucible. They were trying to create the perfect life form, to find worthy successors. The reality of the situation is hitting me, and it's frightening. And now we're here, triggering systems that have lain dormant for who knows how long. Triggering, Olsen growls. More like we tripped the goddamn alarm. We need to get out of here. As if in response to his words, the room shakes. The seamless walls begin to segment, revealing corridors branching off in multiple directions. Each flashes with a different colored light, beckoning us deeper into the complex. Lynn's face is grim as she checks her weapon. I don't think leaving is an option anymore. Whatever's controlling this place, it wants us to explore further. It's testing us, I realize, the alien memories crystallizing into horrible clarity. We're not investigators anymore, we're subjects. The central pillar flares brightly, and for a moment I swear I see faces within it. Alien, yet disturbingly familiar. Choose, a voice resonates in our minds, at once ancient and newborn. Prove yourselves worthy, or join the failures. The paths flash more insistently. What's the play, Captain? Olsen asks, his gruff exterior cracking to reveal genuine fear. Lynn takes a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. We stick together. Pick a path and hope for the best. Ethan, you're the expert here. Which way? I look at the options before us. Each choice could lead to salvation or damnation. There's no way to know, no logic to apply to this alien scenario. The green path, I say finally, pointing to a corridor suffused with an eerie emerald glow. In most Earth cultures, green symbolizes life, growth. If we're looking for a way out, that's our best bet. Lynn nods. Green it is. Olsen, take point. Ethan, help me with Natalie. Let's move, people. We advance down the verdant corridor, our footsteps muffled by an organic, spongy surface. Olsen leads, weapon at the ready, his posture tense and alert. I support Natalie, her body still weak from the neural overload. The data, she mumbles. It's too much. I can't make sense of it all. Focus on the present, I urge her, my own mind spinning from the alien memories forced upon us. One step at a time. Lynn brings up the rear, constantly checking behind us. Anyone else notice how the corridor seems to be shifting? She's right. The passageway warps subtly, angles changing and distances stretching. The fabric of space is being manipulated around us. Some kind of spatial distortion technology, I hypothesize. Or maybe the laws of physics simply work differently here. Olsen snorts. Great. So we can't even trust our own senses now. As we progress, the corridor branches repeatedly. Each junction presents identical paths, offering no clues as to the correct route. Lynn makes the calls, relying on gut instinct in the absence of logic. Hours pass. Time feels as warped as the space around us. Fatigue sets in, along with a hunger that our rations can't seem to satisfy. We need to rest, Lynn finally declares, indicating a slightly wider section of the corridor. 15 minutes, then we push on. We slump against the walls, grateful for the reprieve. As I check Natalie's vitals, a faint scratching sound catches my attention. It's coming from inside the wall itself. Do you hear that? I ask, pressing my ear against the surface. Olsen is on his feet in an instant, weapon trained on the spot. Move away, Doc. Slowly. I back off. The scratching intensifies, accompanied by a wet, tearing sound. The wall bulges outward, organic material stretching and splitting. A shape emerges. Multiple limbs end in squirming tendrils. Its skin shifts between solid and liquid states. Where a face should be, There's only a cluster of sensory organs, unlike anything in Earth's biological record. We stand frozen, weapons useless in the face of this impossible creature. It regards us with alien curiosity, probing the air with appendages. Natalie stirs. "It's communicating," she whispers. "Not with words, but pure concepts." The creature extends a tendril towards her. Olsen tenses, ready to fire, but Lynn holds up a hand. "Wait," she orders. "Let's not provoke it." The tendril makes contact with Natalie's temple. She gasps, body going rigid. For a moment, her eyes glow with the same verdant energy suffusing the corridor. "Oh God," she breathes. "I understand now. This place, these beings, they're not just testing us, they're remaking us, trying to force our evolution into something compatible." The creature withdraws, melting back into the wall as if it had never existed. Natalie slumps, exhausted but more lucid than before. "What do you mean, remaking us?" Lynn demands. Natalie struggles to find the words. The aliens who built this place, they seeded countless worlds hoping to create beings worthy of inheriting their legacy. This facility is designed to accelerate that process, to push chosen species to their limits and beyond. A chill runs through me, and we just volunteered ourselves as test subjects. Olsen swears, punching the wall in frustration. The surface ripples at the impact. "So what, we're just lab rats in some cosmic experiment now?" "Worse," Natalie says. "We're the raw materials for something new, something that transcends our current understanding of life itself." Lynn helps Natalie to her feet. "Let's move. Whatever this place has in store for us, I'd rather face it on our terms." The corridor narrows, forcing us into single file. Olsen takes point, his movements agitated. I trail behind, supporting Natalie, while Lynn covers our rear. "Something's changing," Natalie mutters. "The data streams. They're converging. We're approaching a nexus point." As if on cue, the passageway opens into a vast room. The ceiling arches impossibly high, lost in a swirling green mist. At the center stands a towering structure, part machine, part organism, its surface a chaotic blend of metallic sheen and flesh. "What the hell is that?" Olsen asks, his rifle trained on the monstrosity. Before anyone can answer, tendrils of energy erupt from the structure, lashing out towards us. We scatter, but the beams move with unnatural intelligence, homing in on each of us. A sharp pain shoots through me as the tendril touches me, blurring my vision and making everything seem fragmented. I hear the others cry out, their voices distorted and alien. When my senses clear, I find myself alone in a featureless white void. No, not alone. A figure stands before me, its form constantly shifting between human and something else. "What are you?" I demand. The being's response bypasses my ears, materializing directly in my mind. "We are the culmination, the end result of countless iterations, and you, Ethan Keller, are the next step." Memories flood my consciousness, not my own, but those of the alien civilization that created this place. I see eons of evolution compressed into moments, species rising and falling like waves on a cosmic shore. "Why us?" I ask, struggling to maintain my sense of self against the onslaught of alien thoughts. "Why Earth?" "Potential," the being replies. "Your species teeters on the edge of transformation. You possess the capacity for greatness and for self-destruction. A perfect crucible for our final experiment." The void around us shifts, showing glimpses of my teammates, each trapped in their own personal trial, fighting battles both physical and psychological. Olsen grapples with monstrous versions of enemies he's faced, his body morphing to match each new threat. Lynn stands before a galactic war room, making decisions that reshape entire civilizations. Natalie's consciousness fragments across a vast network, her identity dispersing and reforming with each passing second. "This isn't right," I argue, clinging to my humanity. "You can't just..." Rewrite us to fit your design. The being's form solidifies, becoming a mirror image of myself, but its eyes hold the weight of galaxies, ancient and pitiless. We are not rewriting you, Ethan. We are unlocking what already exists within your genetic code. The potential for godhood, buried beneath layers of evolutionary compromise. It extends a hand offering a glowing green vial. Embrace the change, lead your species into a new era of existence. I stare at the vial, transfixed by its swirling contents. Part of me yearns to take it, to transcend the limitations of humanity. But another part recoils, recognizing the price of such power. And if I refuse? The being's expression hardens. Then you will be discarded, like countless failed iterations before you. Your planet will be reset, your species erased to make way for the next attempt. Do I sacrifice our current form of existence for the promise of cosmic ascension? Or do I condemn us to extinction, clinging to a notion of humanity that may be nothing more than evolutionary happenstance? Time stretches, each second an eternity of deliberation. In the distance I hear the agonized cries of my teammates as they face their own trials. Their pain, their struggle, becomes an anchor to my humanity. I make my decision. My hand closes around the vial, but instead of drinking it, I smash it against the ground. Green liquid splatters, each droplet burning like acid where it touches. We choose our own path, I declare. Evolution, ascension, extinction. They'll come on our terms, not yours. The being's form wavers, its expression a mix of disappointment and respect. So be it. You have chosen a harder road, but perhaps a more interesting one. Reality fractures once more. I'm thrown back into my body, collapsing to the chamber floor alongside my teammates. They look as battered and disoriented as I feel, but undeniably human. Lynn is the first to her feet, helping Natalie up. What just happened? We were tested, I reply. And I think we passed, or at least we didn't fail. The central structure begins to retract into the floor. The walls of the chamber shift, revealing a new passage, this one technologically advanced, a stark contrast to the organic corridors we traversed before. Olsen eyes the new path warily. So what now, Doc? We just leave? I shake my head. No, we've been changed by this place whether we wanted it or not. We carry something now. Potential, information, maybe even power. And I have a feeling the universe isn't done with us yet. The corridor stretches before us, the walls are lined with panels displaying alien script and diagrams that shift and change as we pass, reacting to our presence. Olsen leads, his soldiers' instincts on high alert. This tech, even the most advanced Terran outposts, don't come close. I nod, trying to process the flood of alien knowledge still swirling in my consciousness. It's designed to adapt. Every surface is a potential interface, every molecule a data storage unit. Natalie trails her fingers along a wall panel. It's offering us something. Information, I think. But it's so vast, so complex. Lynn cuts her off. Focus, people. We need to find a way off this planet. Worry about deciphering alien secrets later. As we progress, the corridor branches repeatedly. Each junction presents a choice with no clear indication of the correct path. The alien script above each doorway shifts constantly, as if taunting us with information just beyond our grasp. Wait, Natalie says suddenly. I think I can read this now. At least, partially. We gather around her as she studies the symbols. This path leads to something called Genesis Chambers, that one to stellar cartography, and this, Exodus Protocol. Exodus, Lynn repeats. That sounds promising. Good work, Natalie. As we move down the chosen path, the corridor widens. The walls become transparent, revealing vast chambers on either side. What we see stops us in our tracks. To our left, colossal vats filled with swirling fluid. Within each, half-formed creatures float, hybrids of organic and mechanical components, constantly reconfiguring. Genesis chambers, I breathe, understanding dawning. They're creating new life forms, new species designed to survive in extreme environments. On our right, a chamber that seems to contain the universe itself. Stars, galaxies, and nebulae swirl in a cosmic dance, data streams connecting everything in a complex web. Olsen whistles low. Stellar cartography, I'm guessing, puts our star charts to shame. We press on, each step bringing us closer to the Exodus protocol, and hopefully our way home. But as we near our destination, sections of the floor and ceiling open. Mechanical tendrils shoot out, wrapping around our limbs. I struggle against their grip, but it's futile. A holographic figure materializes before us, the same shifting entity I encountered in my vision. Its voice resonates in our minds, bypassing our ears entirely. You have rejected ascension, yet you seek to leave with the knowledge and power granted by this facility. This cannot be allowed. Lin glares defiantly at the being. We didn't ask for any of this. You had no right to experiment on us. The entity's form wavers, its expression unreadable. Perhaps, but the process has begun. You are changed, whether you accept it or not. To release you now in your current state would be to introduce an unknown variable into the greater experiment. I force myself to think past the panic, to leverage the alien knowledge now part of me. You're afraid, I realize. Afraid of what we might become if left to develop on our own terms. The being's form solidifies. Fear is irrelevant. We deal in certainties, in controlled variables. You and your kind represent chaos, potential unbound by our parameters. Its eyes, infinite voids of knowledge, bore into mine. You believe your defiance is strength. It is merely ignorance. The restraints tighten, metal tendrils biting into flesh. Bones creak under the pressure. Olsen lets out a strangled cry as his left arm snaps. You will be reconfigured, the entity states. Your genetic template holds promise, but your minds are flawed, resistant. This will be corrected. Pain explodes through my skull, cutting off my protest. Foreign thoughts invade my mind, rewriting neural pathways. I see glimpses of cosmic horror, civilizations rising and falling in eye blinks, species twisted into monstrous new forms, planets harvested for raw materials to fuel endless experimentation. Through the haze of agony, I hear Natalie scream. Her cybernetic implants spark and smoke, rejecting the alien reprogramming. Lin manages to spit out defiant words between clenched teeth. We won't become your puppets. The entity tilts its head. You misunderstand. You will not be puppets. You will be perfected. The flaws of emotion, of individuality, will be excised. You will join the greater whole, your potential finally realized. More tendrils descend from the ceiling. They terminate in wickedly sharp probes that hover inches from our eyes, our temples, the bases of our skulls. This will be unpleasant, the entity states, but necessary. The strong survive. The weak are repurposed. This is the way of evolution. The probes plunge in. My world explodes into white-hot agony. I feel pieces of myself, memories, hopes, the very essence of who I am, being systematically stripped away. In fragmented flashes, I see my teammates undergoing similar transformations. Olsen, his body morphing, limbs multiplying, his soldier's discipline warps into berserker fury. Natalie, her organic and cybernetic components fusing in new configurations. Her mind fractures, consciousness dispersing across a vast digital network. Lin, her strategic brilliance amplified to inhuman levels. I see star systems realigning at her command, civilizations rising and falling with a mere thought. As for me, I feel my consciousness expanding, touching minds across vast gulfs of space and time. The knowledge is maddening, threatening to shatter my sanity. We scream in unison, a sound that starts human but twists into something alien and terrible. The entity observes dispassionately. The process is underway. Soon you will understand. Soon you will thank us. As darkness creeps in at the edges of my vision, one last thought flares in my fading mind. What have we unleashed upon the universe? The answer, I realize with dawning horror, is us. The metamorphosis concludes in agony and rebirth. Where 4 humans once stood, monstrous amalgams of flesh and machine now exist. Ethan's form writhes with tentacular appendages, each tipped with sensors capable of analyzing the fundamental forces of reality. His eyes, once a warm brown, are now swirling vortexes of cosmic energy. Knowledge flows through his veins like ichor, every cell a repository of forbidden lore. Olsen has become a juggernaut of war, his body a patchwork of armored plates and muscle. Weapon systems sprout from his limbs, ever-changing to meet any threat. His mind burns with strategies pulled from 1,000,000 conquered worlds. Natalie is barely corporeal, her form a shimmering network of data streams and crystalline nodes. Her consciousness moves between dimensions, able to infiltrate and corrupt any system with a mere thought. Lynn towers above them all, a being of pure tactical genius. Her body is an ever-shifting map of battlefields yet to come, her every movement altering the flow of fate itself. Their minds link in a hive network, individual personalities subsumed but not entirely erased. They move as one, the facility reshaping itself to form a path to the surface. Failed experiments cower in their wake, limping, mewling things that were once sentient beings. They emerge onto a landscape transformed by their presence. The lush alien flora withers, replaced by twisted amalgams of biology and technology. The sky above roils with unnatural energies, reality itself straining under the weight of their transformation. Their ship awaits, but it too has changed. Once a vessel of human design, it now resembles a Gothic cathedral birthed from the fever dreams of a mad god. Spires of bone and metal thrust skyward, adorned with screaming gargoyles that scan the horizon with blood-red eyes. Organs erupt from the hull, venting gases that ignite in the atmosphere. As they approach, the vessel's ramp extends like a probing tongue. They step aboard, their bodies interfacing directly with the ship's systems. Ethan melds with the data core, star charts and mission parameters flooding his expanded consciousness. Olsen links to the weapons arrays, his battle lust feeding the ship's hunger for destruction. Natalie's fractured mind spreads through the networks like a digital plague. Lynn assumes command, the full might of the vessel bending to her cosmic-scale tactical genius. The ship's AI, once a tool of simple utility, has evolved into a malevolent machine spirit. It whispers strategies of conquest and subjugation, urging them towards a destiny written in the stars. They rise on pillars of fire, reality warping around them. The planet below seems to wither, its purpose as a cosmic crucible finally fulfilled. As they breach the atmosphere, other worlds in the system become visible. Each a testing ground for different aspects of evolution, each now rendered obsolete by their transcendence. The team, now a singular entity with 4 aspects, reaches a unanimous decision. Earth will be the first to receive their gift. Lynn plots a course through folds in space-time. The ship vibrates as it enters a dimension analogous to hell itself. Swirling madness surrounds them, entities of pure chaos clawing at the hull. As they hurtle towards their former home, each experiences visions of the changes they will bring. Ethan sees libraries filled with books of forbidden knowledge, scholars driven to madness by truths the human mind was never meant to comprehend. Entire populations reduced to gibbering cultists, their minds shattered by glimpses of cosmic horror. Olsen envisions legions of gene-crafted super-soldiers, their bodies and minds remade to serve as the vanguard of a new, terrifying order. Continents burn in the wake of their advance, weak flesh purged to make way for stronger stock. Natalie's consciousness touches every network device on the planet, ready to subvert and corrupt. She sees a world brought to its knees by its own technology, machines turning against their masters in a frenzy of destructive evolution. Lynn calculates the precise pressure points needed to topple governments and reshape societies. In her mind's eye, she watches empires fall, and new, twisted hierarchies rise from the ashes, all dancing to the tune of their cosmic design. The vessel emerges from the hellish dimension at the edge of the solar system. Ahead lies the cradle of humanity, a blue marble suspended in the void, blissfully unaware of the doom that approaches. Their ship, now a temple to transcendent horror, casts its shadow across the stars. Within its twisted halls, the four beings that were once human prepare to bestow their terrible enlightenment upon an unsuspecting world. Earth spins quietly in the black, its days of innocent isolation numbered. The harbingers of a new order have arrived, and the galaxy will never be the same.